We've noticed that a lot of people want to learn more about shade plants in Central Texas, and so we wanted to make a more detailed video on that. When you do have a shady area, it's important to pick the right plants, and it's important to fill that space, because if you don't fill that space, nature is going to, and then you're going to be in the which free plants do I keep game when you start to go weeding, because weeds are just free plants, as Ryan likes to say. So shade plants, what I like to do, you're usually working around the base of a tree, because the tree is what creates the shade. So the tree is your central structure, and then I like to plant smaller trees as my next layer, and then I like to plant shrubs, and then I like to plant herbaceous taller plants, and then I like to plant ground covers. So it ramps up to the tree. If the tree is your central object that you're working around, and you have a circular bed around the whole tree, then you're ramping out from that so you can see the lower plants and you can see the taller plants in the back. So one of the taller plants that you can use is Hoya Holly. And this plant is useful. It has caffeine, and you've probably seen the Hoya tea companies. So this guy is evergreen. It's a great privacy screen plant as well. It has beautiful red berries on it, and it's good for the wildlife. It grows like a weed once it's established, and it'll start to spread itself around as well. So it's just really hardy, really tough, doesn't need a lot of water once it's established. And it'll provide that structure so that when other things are dormant in the wintertime, you can still see that this is an intentional garden space. So another really good evergreen structure plant you can put in that will eventually get big and tall is this Agarita. It's a shrub, it's not a tree, but I have seen them get 5 or 6 feet tall. And you can see this one has berries on it right now. These are edible. Of course, the birds love them, but they're really good for humans as well. I think they're delicious. It's hard to get a lot of them because there's pokey leaves in the way, but you can put a blanket down and hit it with a stick and get them that way. So this would be, I would go like Hoya Holly, and then Agarita would be the like tall shrub layer that I would use in this example. So another small tree that you could plant in the shade is a Texas persimmon tree. See these growing all over the state. It's one of the most prevalent trees in the hill country because it's very deer resistant. The deer don't eat it very much. But it can grow in the shade, it can grow in the sun. It produces an edible fruit that you can eat. Of course, the wildlife loves it. And it can be semi-evergreen. So on our more mild winters, it does not lose its leaves. So you get the benefit of that evergreen tree. When they're older, the bark is really beautiful. It has beautiful patterns on it, and it can be smooth and kind of almost look like marble or something. So this is one of my favorite shade trees to use up close to the big tree that's actually providing the shade. But they don't get too tall. I think the tallest I've ever seen them is maybe like 12 feet or something. Beautyberry would be one of my next favorite shade plant choices. It grows really fast. It has a beautiful berry that is also edible. Right now this one's about to bloom. It has these beautiful pink buds that are gonna open up, and then it'll have purple berries on it through the summertime. It's a lot of visual interest. And I've noticed that the birds don't seem to start eating them until the winter time. So it's like winter food stores for the birds and other wildlife. It is an insect repellent as well. You can smell it if you rub the leaves and smell. You can smell that sort of pungent insect repellent smell, and you can just take a leaf and you can rub it on your body if there's a lot of mosquitoes out, and it'll help keep the mosquitoes from biting. It is a deciduous plant, so it does drop its leaves, gets about 6 feet tall. It can get taller than that, but in the shade, it's gonna be a little bit more leggy and taller. It can also spread out and get about 6 feet wide when it's in really good soil conditions with the right amount of moisture. All right, and then a taller height herbaceous plant that I would use is inland sea oats. And so these look really great in the summertime. They really don't grow that well out in the sun. So this is kind of a 3 to 4 hours of full sunlight plant at most, but it'll do really great in full shade. And it produces these really beautiful, really interesting seed heads, which is why it's called the sea oat. It's got almost bamboo-like looking leaves, but without a lot of the invasive problems of bamboo. And one of my favorite things to do with it is to use it to encircle a border or to line a path, because it just creates this nice thick layer here, and it stays about 2.5 to 3 feet tall. So it does a really good job of marking borders and saying, okay, hey, this is an intentional space, or you're invited to walk down this path. All right, one more example here of a sort of medium height herbaceous plant would be this mealy blue sage. You could also use sage indigo spires. This is in a part of the garden where it does get about 3 or 4 hours of full sun, so it's kind of transitioning out when you're getting out towards the edge of where the shade is cast by the tree. If you're working around like one big tree in a field, this would be a great plant to use, or on the western or the southwestern side of that shade producing tree. And these can do full sun as well. So you don't have to worry about them getting enough shade. You need to worry about them getting enough sun. This is one of my favorite salvia plants because it is one of the hardiest and toughest plants that also still has this like very clearly, this has been cultivated by humans and this is an intentional plant, but it can also just grow on its own kind of down by the river. All right, hey, thanks guys. Appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to learn more about what we do, how we do it, why we do it, you can hop over to our website. There's tons of good articles. You can join our newsletter. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We'd love to see you there and answer your questions. Thanks again. Enjoy.